Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining me today because we're tackling a topic that is literally life-changing. As we look ahead to 2026, Canada is still standing out as a massive hotspot for international students and workers. Every single year, we're seeing thousands of global applicants, including a huge wave of young Africans, making the big leap to Canada. And they're looking for the whole shebang: world-class education, amazing job opportunities, a really safe environment, and of course, a clear path for long-term settlement. So if you're one of those people dreaming of making this major life transition, you're in exactly the right place. Let's get into it.
But okay, here is the massive elephant in the room. It's the ultimate dilemma that every single person has to figure out before they even think about packing their bags. What is the absolute best pathway to legally and successfully move to Canada in 2026? Do you go all in on the study route, hitting the books, navigating campus life? Or do you take the work route and leverage the skills you already have directly into the Canadian job market? It is a huge, huge decision, and honestly, the answer isn't as simple as you might think.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to completely demystify these pathways today. Here is our roadmap. We'll start with the big decision, move right into the study pathway, follow that up with the work pathway, and then we are going to do a very necessary Canadian reality check. Finally, we'll wrap things up with making your choice to figure out exactly where you fit in.
All right, Section 1, the big decision. Why Canada in 2026?
Before we talk about the how, we really need to understand the why. Why are so many people choosing Canada for this monumental life choice? Well, there are four foundational pillars here. First up, the education system is globally recognized. It's top tier. Second, the job opportunities are vast, simply because Canada has some significant gaps in their labor market right now. Third, safety. It remains one of the safest countries in the world to raise a family. And fourth, and honestly this is the big one for most people, it offers real, tangible, long-term settlement options. It's not just a cool place to visit, it's a place where you can actually put down permanent roots.
Moving right along to Section 2, the study pathway, entering through education.
So, getting accepted into a Canadian college or university is one of the most reliable ways to enter the country legally. But, and this is key, you can't just pick any random major if your goal is long-term success. Right now, international students are specifically choosing healthcare, information technology, business, engineering, construction-related programs, and hospitality. Why those? Because they align perfectly with what the Canadian market actually needs. People are being highly strategic, picking programs that essentially guarantee they'll be employable the second they walk off that graduation stage. What's really fascinating here is the sheer strategic advantage of the study route. Being allowed to work while you're studying, that doesn't just help you pay the bills. It directly allows you to gain vital Canadian work experience before you even get your diploma. And that experience leads right into post-graduation work permits, which opens up potential pathways to permanent residency. So you aren't just paying for a degree. Actually, scratch that. You are investing in a stepping stone to permanent settlement. It's like a giant puzzle, and education is the first piece.
Now, we've got to be real for a second and keep things grounded. Studying in Canada comes with a massive financial reality. It is expensive. The hidden price tag goes way, way beyond just your college tuition. You've got to pay for accommodation, feeding yourself, transportation, healthcare, and let me tell you, these things add up incredibly fast. If you aren't prepared, the financial demand is staggering. Extreme financial planning isn't just a good idea here. It is literally a survival requirement for the study route.
Let's pivot to Section 3, the work pathway, filling the worker shortages.
So, if the study route sounds way too pricey, or maybe you already have an established career, this is where you need to focus. Canada is facing severe worker shortages across a bunch of industries right now, and that actively opens the door for skilled foreign workers. They specifically need people in healthcare and caregiving, construction, truck driving, agriculture, hospitality, IT, and engineering. If you have verifiable skills and experience in those specific areas, you are exactly who Canadian employers are desperate to hire to fill those labor gaps.
And honestly, this leads to a huge advantage. For skilled workers who already have the experience, relocating through a legitimate job offer from a Canadian employer totally bypasses all those massive student expenses we just talked about. Getting a job offer for a work permit can sometimes be a much faster and significantly more affordable route. You're arriving ready to earn a paycheck rather than arriving ready to pay tuition.
But, and this is absolutely crucial, so please listen closely, getting a legitimate job offer from outside the country is incredibly difficult. And because it's so hard, this is exactly where applicants make devastating mistakes. There are people out there looking to take advantage of your dream. You absolutely must beware of fake agents, fake job offers, and unrealistic promises you see online. Before you apply for anything, always verify the information through trusted official Canadian government sources. If it sounds too good to be true, for sure, it probably is.
Okay, Section 4. The Canadian Reality Check. Social media versus reality.
Look, the truth is, life in Canada isn't always as flawless as a 30-second social media reel makes it look. Yes, the opportunities are incredible, but newcomers inevitably face some really harsh realities. We're talking about an exceptionally high cost of living, a brutal adjustment to the weather, especially if you're coming from somewhere warm, constant financial pressure, deep homesickness, and fierce job competition. I want you to have realistic expectations here. It takes immense grit to overcome these hurdles in your first few years. It's not a walk in the park.
There's a quote from our source material that really hits the nail on the head regarding the mindset you need. Relocation should never be based only on pressure, trends, or social media hype. Moving across the globe is a huge, life-altering event. It requires deep patience and meticulous planning. You should never, ever make this move just because everyone else on the internet seems to be doing it. You've got to do it for the right reasons and on your own timeline.
Finally, Section 5, Making Your Choice. Which pathway fits you?
We've looked at the pathways, we've looked at the realities. So, which is better? Well, it entirely depends on you. Putting these two side by side brilliantly illustrates the difference. The ideal study candidate is usually younger, academically qualified for university, and crucially, financially prepared to handle the tuition and living costs. On the flip side, the ideal work candidate already has strong work experience and holds those specific, in-demand skills the Canadian economy is crying out for. The best pathway is simply the one that perfectly matches your goals, your qualifications, and, well, your wallet.
So before you make any final decisions, I want you to follow this concrete roadmap. 1. Take the time to research properly. 2. Build useful skills right now, right where you are. 3. Get your documents prepared and organized. And 4. Fully understand the realities and the challenges involved. Do not skip a single one of these steps before you even think about buying a plane ticket.
I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful thought that beautifully summarizes everything we've unpacked in this explainer today. Because successful relocation is not just about getting to Canada, it's about being prepared for life after arrival. Your goal shouldn't just be crossing the border, right? Your goal needs to be long-term survival and truly thriving once you actually get there.
So, I'm throwing it back to you. Based on everything we just covered, what do you think is the best pathway to Canada in 2026? Are you leaning towards study or work? I really want to hear your thoughts, your plans, and your experiences. Drop your opinions in the comments below. And hey, if this explainer helped bring some clarity to your future plans, don't forget to like, subscribe for more focused relocation updates, and definitely share this with a friend who's thinking about making the move. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.